All right, man. One of the worst parts about getting older, not even old, just getting older, is you always forget there's new ways of doing shit. Now, the camera's gonna rock a little bit because I got it on my lap, but you know, this is how I feel comfortable, and that's kind of what's the most important thing, in my opinion. So, with that being said, shouts out with Kashiski, you know, but all right, man. I want to make this about privilege in America, because for whatever reason it's so confusing. People are so confused about it. Some believe it, some don't. And what makes this really, 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 really important to me is because now in life you were always able to look up what the truth was. People were always able to know, okay, this must be the truth because it's hidden. People are fighting over it. It just feels right. Whatever the case is, like in the past, people were always lied to. But when you found out the truth, it was like, oh shit, there it goes. And in the age of technology, it's so beautiful to actually be able to go on the internet and look up stuff. But now, opinions are way more abundant than facts. Opinions are respected more than facts. Opinions are valued over facts. Um, how someone feels is more important than how healthy they actually are. How someone feels about their relationship is more important than the relationship itself. Or the how someone feels about a relationship is more important than the children, etc., etc., etc. The small insignificant piece now in the day and age we live in is more important, is valued, is looked at more than the actual whole. Like people only pay attention to the fingernail when the entire body is dying. But then you go, hey, let's worry about the nail later. Oh my God, you're nailsis. You're nailsophobic. You're like, hey, there's a bigger, I want people to see my face. There's a bigger issue at hand that affects way more people in way much more of a detrimental way. So, with that being said, that's why I want to speak on privilege because, like, it's moving too much because I'm rocking. Not bad, but hey. So I'm here to get to the point because I'm already 3 minutes in, and people got short attention spans, basically the same time of the duck. But anyway, every culture, every different race, every person has a privilege because there's certain levels of things. Your privilege might not matter when you are amongst 1,000 people, when you're amongst 100, or when you're amongst a few. Whatever the case is, your privilege means a lot more. So people talk about white privilege, white privilege, white privilege, and they go and they say, "Oh well, let's find out if white privilege is real or not." Okay, well here go this one poor white person, so white privilege can be real. And the fact that people are arguing, is white privilege real or is it not real? That's one of the issues in itself right there. White privilege is, there's white privilege, there's black privilege, tall privilege. Like it's not even a handicap. It's not even a privilege. That's like a stupid ass word too. And not trying to undermine anything that anybody has ever gone through. Not even trying to undermine the fight that black people are going through. But in my point of view, right now, like when it comes to privilege, that word is so watered and sprinkled across everything when it's really just more of just an advantage. Like, okay, if me, I'm a big guy, I'm 6'1", like 250. Like not even really big anymore. I'm average size now. Um, but if everybody my size got together and just hung out, we were a clan. Everybody that's 6'1", 250 became a clan. If this 6'1", 250 clan went to Asia, we'd have a whole lot of privileges. If we went to anywhere that we have an advantage, it will become our privilege. So black people have privilege when it comes to sports. Duh, duh. But the only reason we don't see it as a privilege, I believe, is because even though sports is a major money maker, it's very, very important. It's amazing that we can have such a dominant role in it. It doesn't run the country. It doesn't make laws. It doesn't heal, cities. It doesn't heal. It's just entertainment, which is very important, but it's not as important as the president. It's not important as politics. It's not important as just some other things. But it's not a handicap. It's an advantage. It's a privilege. And when we speak of as people, we speak of white privilege. What are we really speaking of? The ability that white people are able to profit off of things that happened in the past. Basically, no matter, because there's so many things I don't feel like mentioning them. I really don't fucking want to. There's so many ways that a white person or a person of European descent, whatever the fuck you want to call it, in 2020 can benefit from things that happened in the past. Uh, Slavery, Jim Crow, Holocaust, all that bullshit. Excuse me. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about their privilege. How they were able to buy houses and land, and they were able to do all these things that other people couldn't. Like that's not something they were okay. They were born with it, but it's not hereditary. And I'm putting these videos up because pause. One thing about me, I don't mind being wrong. I'm, I'm like old school Vegeta. I don't mind an ass whooping. I don't mind being proven I'm wrong, told I'm wrong, based upon the facts or based upon overwhelming, you know, uh, overwhelming amount of opinions. So if I'm wrong, let me know. Let's engage in the conversation because that's the whole point of my podcast, the Knowledge Box. I is not so much of a right or wrong. It's really more of I want to have the actual discussion because people don't have the discussions anymore. Like the discussions are being held, but the people in them are not listening. They're just arguing back and forth and waiting for their turn to say something. They are not listening to what the other person's saying. They already have their arguments pre-made and it's ready to fire. So, like I said, if I'm wrong or if you disagree, hey, hit me up. We can run it long as it's intelligent, not stupid, and not just this is how I feel. Like if we're gonna have an opinionated conversation, that's what we're gonna have. But if it's something real that affects people, children of all races, gender, creeds, blah blah blah, then opinion isn't the most important thing. It's important, but not the most important. But back to the original. Like, because I was talking about how they're born, like you're born with an ability to do something, but it's because of what your ancestors or whatever the case did. So if that's the case, wouldn't it be wouldn't it make sense if people just put more emphasis and more people put more power if you put more power into sports. Let's just say now your basketball players, your basketball coaches, your team captains and all that stuff, they were forced to learn about politics, to at least dabble in it here and there. So just I'm making up stuff, it's all hypothetical. Let's just say that basketball and football were forced to learn about politics. Then what would happen? Your LeBrons, your Kobe's, RIP, all these great people that come from these impoverished homes and all these people that have connections to to the struggle, as people would call it, they would now be your later politicians in their 40s and they retired because they've been learning politics the whole time they're playing basketball, making millions of dollars, and now they're going right to the Senate, the representative, Congress, council, treasurer, all these different things. Now, if that were to happen, wouldn't black people now have black privilege? Would that be the case? Because now, as it stands, sports really doesn't have no dominant power to it. Like this is my way. It's still like a push. Like okay, yeah, we gonna do this. It's still negotiation. But what if LeBron, like after he retired, he just like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go for the Senate. He got it. Boom. Everybody that rock with LeBron, everybody like LeBron, they someone in the office. They serve. They're somebody powerful. Now you have all these black people that are now hip to the game. then you'll have a whole economic flip. Now, this is all hypothetical because I know way more things are going to happen in between this that I want to discuss. But wouldn't that shift the tide? But I'm using that really basically as an example of how everybody has privilege, and I think that when you act like white privilege is the only one makes you forget that you have your own shit. That's my personal feel because that's how I walk around. Like that's how a lot of shit has flown past me or has avoided me because I'm like, okay, yeah, white people have their white privilege. Yeah, that's real. Yeah, they get houses, they get land, all that shit because some of their great grandfather did all that fucked up shit. That's fucked up. But when it comes to these things, this, that, etc., one, two, three, four, I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely got to jump on that. When it comes to this, oh yeah, regardless of whether you're a young white person, old white person, rich or poor, because of my physical stature, because of something that I have, that doesn't matter. And there's a lot of things in America, and this is what I want to make as important. I mean, I want to make very important. There's a lot of things in America that has a lot of power in it besides money. You, there's so many ways that this country, known as the United States of America, oh, excuse me, ooh, not bad bird. Had my son's back there being a weenie, but hilarious. Um, Money is the number one thing that displays power, of course. But I don't even want to mention this stuff that I want people to think about on their own to hit me back up with. What are some other things that give you power? There's dozens things that you can do, you can say, you can wear, you can apply for, you can apply to, you can record yourself doing. There's so many things that you can do that gives you a little more drop of power, like Salt Bay. Here go a little more power. Here go a little bit more power. So you might not have the most money in the world, but through a collection of things. Oh, what's up, baby girl? What page you need? Hold on, y'all. School is more important than this shit a little bit. All right, y'all. I might get off track a little bit. Fuck it, cause I really don't feel like doing all this editing shit. Um, but yeah, there's so many things that you can do that give power. So you might not be a trillionaire. You might not be a millionaire. You might not be I'm sorry, I messed up. You might not be a trillionaire. You might not be a billionaire. You might not be a millionaire. You might not be 100,000aire. You might not be a 10,000aire. But guess what? If you got a solid ass family that cares about you and fucking loves you, that's a power that a lot of people don't have. You might be poor, you might be broke, you might have fucking nothing, but if you got a mama and or a daddy and some sisters and brother cousins that love you and got your back, that's a power that you need to invest in. Okay, I got a family. What can I do as a family? Okay, cool. I got an iPhone 5 that I found on the ground or that I stole. Not encouraging stealing, but people do it all day. Rich, poor, black, white, we all fuck. Most of y'all motherfuckers steal. I ain't gotta steal shit I need, but I'm human too. Um, iPhone 5, you know what I'm saying? That bitch trash. It barely get on the internet, but guess what? It probably can get on YouTube, and you could probably record some videos with it. Would a imagery be cloudy and trash? You fucking right. You know what I'm saying? All this shit, but guess what? There's such thing as Patreon. There's Cash App. There's all this shit. You make these family orientated videos. You make these funny videos doing pranks or doing some stupid ass TikTok shit, whatever it takes for you to get out the mud. If all you got in your life is your family, you ain't got no money, you broke, and y'all struggling, motherfucker, y'all better start TikToking that shit on out because they got people making 50 grand. From simple shit like that, bro. That's a power. You know what I'm saying? But that's the only example I'm gonna give because I want people to think about it now. There's so many examples of power out here. It might not be the most powerful example, but you don't have to go 50-0 to be a champion. You don't have to eat. I ain't gonna lie, bro. For my sports people out there, my dogs, my homies, as long as you go 51-49, you got the chance of championship. I'm pretty sure. As long as you ain't got a losing record, you got a chance of becoming a champion. And even with a losing record, all it takes for you to drop the right people to notice you. You feel me? So I'm like, this ain't even a motivational shit, because I'm that person, but it's not what it's about. This is about the privilege. Privilege is another fucking form, is another word of power. Privilege is another word of having an advantage. Privilege is another word of a handicap going your way. We all got it. When someone else is cheating us or somebody else is fucking us over because they have power, don't mean you don't have one. We all got our power. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna say it again. I got a, podcast called Purple People. That's a dope ass allegory. That's 2.5, I think 3 minutes long. So you ain't gotta wait that long. It's simple and it explains the privilege in a very childlike way to where you it's just simple to fucking get. So dose dose.